He didn't even look up from his folding chair. I walked past with my brand-new $300 rod, tackle box full of gear, wearing a fishing shirt that cost more than his whole setup. He watched me cast 3 times, all fancy, all technique, and then he chuckled. Not mean, just knowing. "Boy," he said, "you're fishing with a museum piece and calling it modern." Then he reached into an old coffee can, pulled out something that looked like dirty dough, and in the next 45 minutes he landed 9 catfish. I landed 1, and it was small. His name was Earl, 92 years old, grew up on the banks of the Tennessee River. And what he handed me that afternoon changed every fishing trip I've taken since. If this is your first time here, hit subscribe and ring that bell, so you don't miss any secret the industry tries to keep buried. I went back to that same spot the following weekend, same stretch of water between Chattanooga and Muscle Shoals that Earl's family had been fishing for 3 generations. I set up 2 identical rods, same hooks, same weight, same line, same depth, same cast distance. On one, I used the store-bought power bait I'd been relying on for 2 years. On the other, Earl's mixture. First hour, 7 fish on Earl's bait, 2 on the power bait. Same water, same spot, same setup. 7 to 2. People on the bank kept wandering over, looking at my cooler, asking what I was using. I just said, "Something a buddy gave me," because honestly, at that point, I was still figuring it out myself. Then I started digging. Talked to old-timers at the boat ramp in Decatur, Alabama. Guys who've been pulling catfish out of the same mud since the 60s. Drove south to Lake Okeechobee and sat down with a 78-year-old Florida man named Raymond who had a recipe almost identical to Earl's, but with one twist. Found a retired fishing guide in the Mississippi Delta, 60 years on the same Oxbow Lakes, who had his own version. Different names, different jars, same core principle. These men had figured out something 3 generations deep, something the big fishing brands have zero financial interest in you ever learning. We're living in the strangest era of fishing. More gear on the market than any generation before us. More tutorials online than you could watch in a year. More pro tips everywhere you look. And yet most guys still come home from the river frustrated, watching other anglers fill their buckets, wondering what they're doing differently. What if the adjustments the best fishermen never talk about publicly are exactly what's missing from your trips? Those invisible decisions, reading water, choosing the right spot, bait timing, pressure reading. The things that don't show up on camera but completely flip the results. That's why Pesca de Alto Nivel was created. A practical, no-fluff guide where you learn the pillars that actually make a difference, step by step, using the same strategies the anglers who consistently catch fish are running out on the water. This isn't another shallow guide recycling the same obvious tips. Inside, you'll genuinely understand how to think like a high-level angler, how to read your environment, choose your spots smarter, dial in your technique, and prepare for every trip with real intention, stacking the odds in your favor before you even launch the boat. Download it now through the link pinned in the first comment. Important. This special offer, from $99.90 down to just $14.92, is time-limited and can come down at any moment. So what was in Earl's coffee can? Chicken liver, garlic, and anise extract. 3 things you can grab at any Walmart or Dollar General for under 50 cents per batch. And the reason it works isn't luck. It's straight biology. Catfish don't hunt with their eyes. They hunt with their noses. A channel catfish has roughly 140,000 olfactory receptor cells per square centimeter of nasal tissue. Compare that to maybe 10,000 in most dogs. These fish can track amino acid signals, the chemical compounds released by decaying organic matter, at concentrations as low as 1 part per billion in moving water. 1 part per billion. Chicken liver is saturated with those amino acids, particularly L-serine and L-alanine, the same compounds a dying shad or bluegill releases in the water column. As the liver breaks down, it sends out a chemical trail that a big flathead can track upstream from 200 yards away. Garlic amplifies that signal. Allicin, its active compound, stimulates both the olfactory system and the lateral line simultaneously. Anise extract adds a sweet top note that cuts through murky, tannic water and seems to short-circuit the fish's wariness response entirely. Think of it as a dinner bell that bypasses the fear center. Here's exactly what you need. 1 pound of fresh chicken livers. Fresh, not frozen. The fresher, the more amino acid release per hour in the water. 4 cloves of garlic, crushed hard. Not minced, crushed. Press flat with the side of a knife until it breaks open and you can smell it from 3 feet away. 1 teaspoon of pure anise extract. Not anise flavored. Pure. The difference in potency is significant. 1 per 2 cup of yellow cornmeal. Your binder. Holds the mixture on a treble hook in current. Optional. 2 tablespoons of strawberry jello powder. Adds a color and scent signal for stained water. Muddy rivers especially. Total cost: under $3 for a batch that covers 2 full trips. Step 1. Let the livers sit at room temperature for 2 hours before mixing. This jump-starts the breakdown process and increases amino acid output once the bait hits the water. Step 2. Mash everything together in a Ziploc bag. Skip the bowl. The smell stays contained, and it's easier to transport. Step 3. Add cornmeal slowly until the mixture holds a ball without crumbling. Should feel like thick dough, not paste. Step 4. Refrigerate overnight. 24 hours minimum. 48 is better. Earl's thing, he always made his batch 2 days before the trip. Said the second night, woke something up in it. I tested both. He was right. The 48-hour batch outfished the 24-hour batch noticeably on a slow bite day at Pickwick Lake. Stores in the fridge 5 days. Freezer up to 6 weeks. Freeze in golf ball-sized portions and thaw 1 at a time right before you fish. Want to push it further? 2 add-ins the old-timers swear by. A tablespoon of blood bait concentrate. Amplifies the blood scent signal, especially effective in the heavy mud of the Mississippi and lower Alabama rivers in late summer, when the water is slow and warm. Half a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. Sounds insane, but the sweet chemical profile confuses the fish's threat detection response. Raymond from Okeechobee added this to every single batch. He'd been guiding on that lake for 30 years and called it his closer. Now, why don't Bass Pro or Cabela's carry a version of this? Simple math. A jar of Powerbait catfish attractant runs $12 to $18, and you're back buying another one in 3 trips. Your homemade batch costs $3, stays in your freezer for 6 weeks, and in a side-by-side test, it outperformed the store stuff 7-2. If serious cat fishermen switched to this tomorrow, Berkeley and the rest would feel it in their quarterly numbers. The whole business model runs on you not knowing what Earl knew. On the water, use a golf ball-sized portion per rod, pressed firmly around a treble hook. Best window is dusk to about 2 hours after sunrise. That's when channel cats and flatheads are pushing into the shallows and feeding hardest. Works on blue cats, too, especially in bigger systems like the Ohio and the lower Arkansas. One mistake to cut out immediately. Stop rebaiting every 15 minutes. Most guys pull the hook constantly to check the bait. Leave it alone for at least 30 minutes. The scent cloud needs time to develop, travel, and pull the fish in. You're yanking the trail before it's had a chance to work. Click that link in the first pinned comment, grab your copy of Pesca de Alto Nivel, and let those strategies start working before your next trip. When you come back from the water after putting this into practice, drop a comment, "Caught more." That's your commitment to your own growth as an angler, and it might be exactly the step that separates the stories you've been hearing from the stories you're about to start telling. Picture it. Next Saturday morning, same riverbank. The guy next to you is cracking open his third 18-gallon jar of store-bought attractant. You've got your Ziploc, made Tuesday night for $3, sitting in your cooler. An hour in, you've got 4 fish. He's got 1. He leans over. "What are you using?" You close the Ziploc, smile a little. "Something an old man taught me." Earl never wrote this down. Neither did Raymond. Neither did the guide in the Delta. This knowledge lived in coffee cans and tackle boxes and back porches on the Tennessee River for decades, passed from grandfather to son, and almost disappeared completely. Subscribe and hit that bell. The next video has something these men kept even quieter than this.